Welcome into the Landon Tengwall Show, brought to you by Hoover. Thank you to Will Hoover and the entire Hoover crew for bringing you this video. Today, we are going to dive into the tape of the name that I think is most likely that Matt Campbell brings with him from Iowa State, and that is their quarterback, Rocco Becht. Now, tomorrow and Friday, we're going to be doing breakdowns on a couple other players from Iowa State that I think Campbell is really going to want to bring here, and guys that popped out on tape when I was turning on the tape of Iowa State. So stay up to date, all the news, all the information that you need about Penn State football, and it is free here. No paywall, just Tengwall. Hit that subscribe button. Get everything you need. All right, so their quarterback, Rocco Becht. One note before we get into his tape, I think the expectation has been that Campbell can bring anywhere from 8 to upwards of 13, 14, 15 players. I think that's what some people have kind of assumed, and I've even said that myself, because you look at Cignetti, and he's been the blueprint, and we see that he took 13 players from JMU with him to Indiana. So that's kind of like, oh, that's what people do. That's what we're going to see. Well, I did some research, and I realized that Cignetti taking 13 players from JMU to Indiana was actually the outlier in this situation of coaches making a move to a bigger school from a somewhat smaller school. So going through the list, when Elko left Duke to go to Texas A&M, took 0 players with him. When Hugh Freeze left Liberty to then go to Auburn, took 1 player with him. When Jonathan Smith went from Oregon State to Michigan State, took 3 players with him. When Kalen DeBoer left from Washington to go to Alabama, he took 4 players with him. So really looking around, it's actually I think we can expect a smaller number of Iowa State transfers than we really have expected, just because we've all kind of been blinded by Cignetti and his success. So that's what we're going to do. I don't know if Campbell's going to go that route. And honestly, watching the tape, I don't think there is 12, 13, 14 players that are worth, or at least going to be able to start on this Penn State roster from watching the tape. I just don't think there is. So that's going to be something to monitor. There might be some younger guys that Campbell says, hey, this guy's a freshman. He didn't play, but he's going to be a dude. He's going to develop. But as far as the guys starting, I don't see a ton of guys that are going to be someone that we absolutely want on this Penn State roster next year. But the one guy that we definitely will want, and I know Campbell's going to want, is Rocco Becht. So why don't we dive into his tape? One thing was evident when I turned on the Iowa State tape. Rocco Becht has fantastic touch. So you're going to see these footballs that he throws, these fade balls that he's putting up that are kind of these 50-50 balls to allow his receiver to go up and make a play. They're really, really good. This one here kind of turns it into a back shoulder. He sees that there's so much space over here. This wide receiver hasn't been condensed to the sideline, so he's got all this space to work with. So leaves it back shoulder. Wide receiver has a ton of room, and it is perfectly placed exactly where he needs it. Touchdown. And like I said, I mean, you see this constantly. Now he's going to look up to the top of the screen. It's just a perfect amount of touch, a perfect amount of air under the football by Rocco Becht when he puts these up, because these are the 50-50 balls that aren't super easy to throw, but when it's perfect placement, it's really difficult for this DB to make a play on this. Like, he leads him. As you see, he starts to kind of fade away to this because, once again, Rocco Becht sees there's space on the sideline, so he leads him away from this DB and puts it right where it needs to be. I mean, that is a perfect football that allowed him to create separation even further away from that DB and making it easy for his guy. But every game that I turned on, he had a couple of these type of plays where if he sees one-on-one coverage, like, he wants to take a chance. He wants to give his playmakers an opportunity. Once again, same thing. That's right where it needs to be. This is really tight coverage, and it is 35-plus yards on a dime where his guy needs it. And there's an understanding of where the ball needs to be placed to allow the wide receiver to have the best opportunity to make a play on it. So you see this right here. This wide receiver is going to run a go, and this DB that's running over, he overplays it and then goes, oh crap, like, now I got to turn this thing up. And what I want you to see is right here, a lot of quarterbacks would leave it out here where they throw the football, and this DB would be able to kind of ride them out after they catch it. But I want you to see is where this wide receiver is, where he is, and he's going to start to turn in and stack the DB, because this is where Rocco Becht throws the football. You see now where he caught this ball at, he is now in here, and he was running the route out here. So did a great job once again allowing his wide receiver to stack the DB, putting him in best position to not only be able to catch the football, but be able to turn it into more yards and a touchdown in this situation. But just so many beautiful throws. And like I said, the touch on it, that's the perfect amount of float you want on it. You don't want it to be too high of a moon ball. But right here, I mean, this one isn't completed because this DB plays perfect coverage. I mean, great job by him getting that hand up right where it needs to be. But that's where the ball, that is where you want it every single time that you are giving your guy an opportunity. I want to show this tape to any wide receiver that's thinking about coming to Penn State, because if this guy's your starting quarterback, you're going to get some great opportunities. Now let's dive into the next piece of Rocco Becht's game here. And once again, it's his touch, but it's his willingness to make some arrogant throws. Some throws that, honestly, that Penn State and Drew Allar have been kind of hesitant to throw right here. So, I mean, this is, talk about a dime right over top of the low defender and in between the high defender. I mean, this is a great catch, but puts it where it needs to be. But once again, not afraid to take chances, to take these risks. So you'll see this linebacker is in coverage and he realizes a little too late. Oh, crap, I got to get on this. Rocco Becht sees that. And there's no fear. Like, he just wants to let this thing rip. And once again, it's perfect touch. It's not too much of a lob where this safety can come down and smack this tight end, or it's not too line drive where this linebacker right here can get up and play it. It's perfect. It's right over top of the linebacker. He couldn't even touch it if he wanted to, and it's right where it needs to be to get some extra yards too. So, I mean, a lot of this is like his ability to be like, hey, I'm going to throw this thing. And sometimes we'll see in a little bit, like, it can put him in danger. But these type of throws, I mean, look at the tight end here. So this tight end is going to run basically an out and up. And Rocco Becht does a good job. I like how he kind of climbs the pocket over here to the left, because that's where he's going to throw it. So get closer to it. And he sees that, you know, you got this hook defender here, you got the flat defender here. So he's just waiting for this up, boom, let it fire. And once again, this is what we call a hole shot. Like, he let it fire in between this low flat defender and then this high safety. And he has a great understanding, once again, of like the touch that he needs to have. So that same touch that he had on the last pass, he didn't put that same touch, because if he put that same touch, this safety right here is going to blow out this tight end's kneecap. So he understands this needs to be more on a line drive, and it's boom, right on top of it. It allows the tight end to be able to catch it, turn, and then protect himself so he doesn't get lit up. So Rocco does a really good job of making sure when he throws these tight balls, he's not going to send his receiver to the hospital, and that is really important, keeping your guys safe. So same thing right here. You know, you're trying to throw this corner route, and he knows there's a finite window because you have the high safety and you have the flat defender that's already drifting back. And what Rocco does, like, it's the ball placement generally. Everything I've seen on tape is really, really good. This DB can't even jump up. The flat defender doesn't have a chance to jump up and try to pick this thing off because of where it's put. It's put high, outside, and towards the sideline. And so every single time, like, the ball placement is very receiver friendly here from Rocco Becht. And that's what I like. And he finds a way, he puts it where it's best for the receiver. So obviously right here, you're going to have two routes. You're going to have this route that's pushing things deep and trying to take this DB, push him deep. And then you have this flat route that's hoping to pull the flat defender down. So you're hoping now, okay, I'm going to hit this receiver and hopefully no one is there. But Rocco Becht understands, as soon as I release this, as soon as this comes out of my hand, I'm going to have both of these guys from high and low coming on this receiver. So it does a great job, and he notices this. Look how he does not lead his guy out here. He actually puts it on his back shoulder. So yeah, the receiver kind of has to stop and settle a little bit, but that's exactly where you want it to be able to, once again, allow your guy to catch the ball, but protect him from getting licked by this DB. He's able to turn around, get off me, break a couple tackles. That is important. His understanding of where the ball needs to be placed is very, very good. All right, now let's talk about where Rocco Becht gets himself in a little bit of trouble. And like I talked about, sometimes he is just going to say, I'm going to sling it, and things like this happen. So what he gets is he gets this motion route across the formation from the tight end and then working into the flats. And he's decided right here, like, you look at his face, he is throwing this football, and he's got a good amount of space between the tight end and the DB here. But here's the problem, is where he throws this football. Like I said, most of the time his accuracy is good, but there's some times where it was wonky. And so he leads him upfield. So this kind of drifts, and the ball is basically placed right here. This ball because he's running a flat route, this ball needs to be placed probably right about here generally, but he leaves it backside. He leaves it backside shoulder, and he kind of floats it, and that allows the DB to break on it and take it in for a pick six. And they were only down by 7 to BYU at this point, so he kind of lost them the game there to a degree. But I saw this a couple different times where he just decided he was going to throw the football and didn't really see. So, I mean, eyes the entire time are on this curl route that's going to be run right here and doesn't even really see this linebacker that's going to break on this thing. So, I mean, he sees him the entire way. This linebacker's eyes are looking at him, and if he was just a second quicker, that should probably, once again, just like the pick six we just saw, if this linebacker was any better, that would also probably be a pick six. And now this is the one, I had to put this in there because I want to be fair, but this is the one that I'm like, it was head scratching. I'm like, I don't know how you throw this pick because I'm confused because he looks to the left, looks back to the right. He's looking over here for like a good 2.5 seconds and just throws it to him. And it wasn't like this wide receiver was running a crazy route. He was just running a go, and he just puts it right on this linebacker's hand. So I'm not exactly sure what he was looking at there. And then, like I said, this isn't frequent, but I wanted to show it. There were some errant throws that he had on tape. So it gets a really nice setup here where you're, in this man coverage, and you're going to basically get 2 routes that are essentially pick routes, and you're hoping to get this wheel route around. Gets exactly what he's looking for, and it should be a touchdown, but just completely misses on the throw and leaves it backside. So really good stuff from him, but from time to time there are these these interesting interceptions and errant throws that he has. Now, something that I saw in Rocco that I was really impressed with is at Iowa State, they made him read the entire field. A lot of times they're giving quarterbacks nowadays just one read or just reading half of the field. They don't do that to Becht. So you see this. I snap over to the left. I'm reading this side of the field. I'm going first read. All right, snap back right. What's going on over here? Are any of my reads open? No. Snap back middle. I'm getting back to my third, fourth read. Fired in there. Beautiful. And that was part of what hindered kind of Penn State. Like, we were very much kind of a one read, only reading one side of the field. And this is impressive. So, like, you look right away. He's looking at, okay, what do I have over here? Can I hit this flat right away? Probably not. He's taking that away. Okay, so now I'm going backside. I'm looking over to this flat. Okay, we're double covered. No good there. I'm snapping back to the middle. Nope, covered there. And now I'm waiting. Okay, 4 breaks open, finally breaks off. You got some space here, and I'm firing it in there. To be able to read the entire field, like I said, college coaches don't ask guys to do that very much these days. And the other piece to kind of point out is he just puts balls on target. Like a lot of these quick routes, his anticipation, where he places it, like when this ball is releasing, look where the ball's already out, and this guy's just getting in to his break to start to come back, is able to put it right on him, and now you can turn up field, go get yards after catch. And then just like these simple one-step throws. I think this is important because we missed on a lot of these this year where one step and it was hitting the dirt or something like that. Watch where he puts the football because he almost leads him up and it's right on his face mask instead of getting tackled because it's low and you only get a 4-yard gain because of where he put the ball. Watch, make a move, miss, make another guy miss, and now we're up there and we're getting a first down. So the little things that Rocco Becht does, I think he does a very good job. And yeah, this is a step up from what Penn State has had at quarterback.